How is an inheritance affected by bankruptcy? Hi, I'm attorney Leroy Roberson, and I want to talk about this topic from the standpoint of a Chapter 7 bankruptcy as well as a Chapter 13 bankruptcy because they're a little bit different. And when I say the term inheritance, I'm talking about things that you will receive through a will, a trust, or some fashion of that nature. So let's start by talking about the Chapter 7 process. Now, in inheritance, you're usually going to receive money or property. And at the time that you file bankruptcy, like any other asset, if you have that inheritance, that's going to be a part of the bankruptcy estate. So you're going to have to be able to find an exemption to cover that property or asset. So, for example, if you have property, if you inherit a house, and that house has equity in it, you have to have an exemption to cover that amount of equity to protect it from the trustee coming after that equity and potentially selling your home. And as far as money, same thing. You have to be able to find one of the exemptions at the time of filing. Now, with inheritances, Congress has changed things up a little bit because normally only assets at the time that you file become a part of the bankruptcy estate. However, with inheritances, you actually can have 180 days from the time you file for that inheritance to become entitled to by you for the trustee to be able to come and gain access to that. So that's an important caveat to remember, that it's not at the time you file, but it's within 180 days of the time that you file that you still need to be able to make sure you can protect and exempt whatever asset or money you're going to be receiving in that inheritance. So just keep that in mind. Now let's move on to Chapter 13, because in Chapter 13, remember, you're not really worried about having to protect assets because any asset that you can't exempt just becomes part of that planned payment that you're going to be making. So, for example, if you're getting an inheritance and you can't exempt that asset, you will just put whatever amount that's not exempted into the planned payment, and you'll make your planned payment, and that money will go to pay off the unsecured creditors, whatever percentage that they're entitled to. So if you're thinking of between Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, think about that really, because it's important. Because if you want to file a Chapter 7, but there's no way to exempt that inheritance, if it's a big, large inheritance that you just can't exempt, then a Chapter 13 is probably going to be the way you want to go, because like I said, no matter how much that amount is, you can throw it into the plan and don't have to worry about losing it. So I hope that helps you. And if you have any other questions, as always, feel free to let me know and we can talk more about it. If not, have a great day, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks.